start off with an experiment to understand the differences between physical and chemical properties and changes in matter. So, I know all you guys have played with Silly Putty at least once in your life, and making it fun is how stretchy it is and how flexible it is. So these properties can be determined when we make the Silly Putty and delve into what makes it unique. So, our question is going to be, how does the ratio of borax affect the flexibility and stretchiness of Silly Putty, as I wrote on the board. So we talked about independent and dependent variables. So of course the independent variable is going to be the ratio of borax. That is what we're changing. And the dependent variable is going to be the stretchiness and the flexibility of the substance. So, we have talked a little bit about chemical and physical changes. So, a chemical change is when two substances combine and you cannot separate them by physical means. And so, since we're going to be looking at properties, we need to determine what type of properties they are. So, physical property is a property of matter where it does not change the composition of the substance in any way. So that'll help us determine what properties we want for the Silly Putty to make it the most fun. So, in order to make the Silly Putty, we're going to have some Ziploc bags, cups to measure out our ingredients, as well as teaspoons and tablespoons, glue, borax, and when we mix them with water, we're going to put them in containers to dilute them. So we're going to have 50% glue, so 50% water and 50% glue in one, and 4% borax, and the rest water in this one. And that's what we're going to use to make the Silly Putty. So, we're going to now make a table to help us with our experiment. So you're going to make a table, as I did here, with the first column being the amount of borax. So we're going to use 4 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon. And for the whole thing, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of glue in the mixture. The next column will be your observations, so what you observe while we are creating the Silly Putty. And the last column will be the flexibility or stretchiness. As soon as the Silly Putty is set and is clumped together, we're going to observe the flexibility of it. So, we also talked about what properties a substance has to have in order to recognize if it's a chemical or a physical change. So, a chemical change usually has a new substance being created, an unexpected color change, an unexpected temperature change. So we're going to look for some of these signs to determine if a chemical change takes place in this experiment. So a chemical change does mean that you cannot reverse what you just did. So to fill in the chart, I did so like label a bag, 4 tablespoons. So that's the one with 4 tablespoons of borax and glue in it. And then when we have the product, we're going to observe, and it's going to be very liquid-like. And it doesn't really clump, so no clumps, or very few at first. And then we're going to fill in this one when we're ready to do so. And then, so once we're done with that, so I hope hope you guys have learned something about the differences between physical and chemical changes. It's important that we learn about physical and chemical changes so that in the real world, when you're looking at things, many things have physical and chemical changes take place, and it'll help you better decide and understand why it is one or the other and its properties. It is also important for future study when you guys talk about different properties of matter, changes in states of matter, and things like that. So it's very useful to know.